Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Today, I come to you with good news and bad news about Medicare. First, the good news. Medicare still exists. It's still around. And that's great because Medicare, when it comes down to it, really is great health insurance. Now, on to the bad news. Medigap premiums have been increasing significantly all over the country. Now, we've seen 5 to 10% annual premium increases on Medigap plans. We've seen that before. But now we're seeing 10, 20, 30, 40% increases in annual premiums on these Medigap plans. Now, that's a lot. And you have to understand why this is happening so that you can plan accordingly. Now, this isn't just for those who are currently on Medicare or those who will very soon be on Medicare. No, this is for everyone who will eventually rely on Medicare. You have to know what's happening, again, so that you can plan. And so that means pretty much everyone, virtually everyone, should tune in. So tell a friend to tell a friend, because when you think about it, friends really shouldn't let friends walk into retirement unprepared. In this video, I'll break down the 3 main factors driving these huge increases in these Medicare supplement plans so that you understand exactly what's happening and why. I'll also go over 3 things you can do if your premiums are just getting too high. Let's start with the biggest culprit, healthcare inflation. Now, this is the main driver behind almost every insurance premium increase you see. And as the poet Joseph Cartagena likes to say,
yesterday's price is not today's price.
Thanks, Joe. You're right. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Healthcare costs are rising much faster than general inflation. So when hospitals charge more, when prescription drugs cost more, when medical equipment is more expensive, it flows directly to your Medigap premiums. Here's why this hits Medigap plans particularly hard. These plans are designed to cover your Medicare cost sharing. So let's take your co-insurance, for example. Medicare pays 80% and most Medigap plans pay the other 20%. So when healthcare gets more expensive, the pie gets larger and your Medigap plan is now paying 20% of a much larger number. So the premiums have to go up if the Medigap plan itself is paying out more and more in claims. It's a domino effect that starts with rising underlying medical costs and ends with higher premiums hitting your mailbox. The second major factor is something many people don't realize. Medicare's own deductibles are actually going up, and that directly impacts what your Medigap plan now has to cover. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are 2025 numbers, the most recent. So let's look at the increases and talk about what they mean for Medigap premiums. The Medicare Part A hospital deductible jumped to $1,676. Now that's a $44 increase from 2024's $1,632 deductible. The Part B deductible rose as well to $257. Now that's up $17 from last year's $240. Now remember, most of the Medigap plans cover at least some of these deductibles for you. As a matter of fact, let's just take a look at all of the Medigap plans here. Lots of info on this chart, but let's focus on the Part A and B deductibles. You'll see just about all of the plans cover the Part A deductible, and a couple of the legacy plans, Plan C and Plan F, still cover the Part B deductible. When Medicare raises deductibles for Part A and Part B, as we just saw, your Medigap insurer suddenly has to pay out more money per claim. Think about it this way. If you have Plan F and get $1,000 worth of Part B services, your Medigap plan used to cover a $240 deductible. Now they're covering $257. Again, they're covering $17 more. Now, that might not sound like much, but multiply that across thousands and thousands of policyholders, and you can see how these small increases add up to a significant additional cost for the insurance company. And these costs get passed on to you through higher premiums. The third factor might surprise you, and I think it's actually one of the most controversial. You'll see why. Many states are implementing something called the birthday rule. And while on one hand, this seems like a good thing for consumers, it's also contributing to premium increases. The birthday rule allows you to switch from one Medigap plan to another during a set window around your birthday each year without underwriting. Now that's the key, without underwriting, because typically if you wanted to switch from one Medigap plan to another, you'd have to go through underwriting, right? So there'd be a health questionnaire, there could be a health exam, and that insurer would be able to deny you or raise your premium. Well, with the birthday rule, states implementing these, they've given beneficiaries a way to kind of get around that. So insurers have to take those beneficiaries because of the birthday rule. Now, in 2023, around 8 states had implemented a birthday rule. In 2025, it's around 12 states, and more states are considering it. Here's the key issue, and let me make it plain. Without medical underwriting, the insurance companies can no longer screen out high-risk applicants. Now, I think that that's positive for humanity overall, maybe bad for the insurance company and the insurance company shareholders, because in the past, if someone had health conditions, the insurance company could either decline the coverage or simply charge higher rates. Now, under the birthday rule protections, the insurance companies must accept everyone at standard rates, no matter their health status. This means Medigap insurers are suddenly taking on beneficiaries they previously would have declined. People with chronic conditions, recent surgeries, or ongoing medical treatments that generate really expensive claims. And one of the only levers that insurance companies have to offset these costs is to raise the premiums for their entire member base. And you better believe these insurance companies are pulling that lever. And they're also looking out on the horizon. And you saw that we talked about earlier, the states that had birthday rules went from 8 to 12 in just a couple of years, and more states are considering the birthday rules or a birthday rule or a version of the birthday rule. Those states or those insurance companies are looking out on the horizon and they're seeing what's happening. Likely more states implementing birthday rules, and so they are getting ready. So don't be surprised to see even more premium increases. More premium increase notices hitting your inbox, hitting your mailbox. Now, if you're facing a dramatic rate increase, you're not powerless. Here are 3 strategies to consider. First, you can shop around for a new Medigap plan. If you're in a state with those birthday rule protections, you can switch Medigap plans without underwriting during your birthday window. Even if you're in a state that doesn't have those protections, you might find better rates with a different insurer. Just know, if you do switch, you'll likely have to go through medical underwriting. Next, consider a high deductible Medigap plan. These plans have lower monthly premiums, but higher out-of-pocket costs before coverage kicks in. If you're relatively healthy, these plans might work for you. Lastly, you could explore Medicare Advantage. Now, Medicare Advantage is a completely different approach to Medicare, and you got to think about it differently. But I will say some of the Medicare Advantage plans do offer $0 monthly premiums, but you may end up paying more in out-of-pocket costs. So you got to approach it eyes wide open and know what you're getting into if you're considering Medicare Advantage. But if your Medigap plans, if those premiums are getting way too high, all options should be on the table. So consider Medicare Advantage, and I'll have another video specific to Medicare Advantage, another one where I compare Medigap versus Medicare Advantage. So there you have it. Healthcare inflation, rising Medicare deductibles, and expanding state protections like birthday rules are driving up your Medigap premiums. But you do have options to manage these costs. Now don't forget to like and subscribe for more retirement information. But before we go, Joe, what was that you said about inflation again?
Yesterday's price is not today's price.